Studio. We're pleased to welcome now Dr. Kollin Napier, Mississippi Artificial Intelligence Network. The acronym of M.A.I.N, M-A-I-N, signifies that. Good to see you, Dr. Kollin Napier. Appreciate you being in the studio today. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good to see you, Gerard. I'm good. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Glad to be here and tell everybody in Mississippi about what's going on with AI.
Well, you know, a lot of people may not be aware that your organization even exists with a total focus on artificial intelligence. Of course, I don't think a day that goes by that folks don't see something in the news concerning AI, but we're playing right here in the state of Mississippi.
Absolutely. The first in the nation as well. So your state, all the Mississippians out there, your state is leading the charge right now when it comes to AI awareness, education, training, and innovation as well.
That's really awesome. So the groundwork has been laid for a long time. You and I were just talking about that off air for artificial intelligence, long before it became kind of standard vernacular. But this isn't anything new. Scientists, data scientists, IT specialists, software engineers, et cetera, have been developing artificial intelligence technology and applications for a long time.
Yeah, since the 1950s.
Right.
The conversation, the idea, the concept around that time, you could even date it back to the birth of mathematics, but really around the 50s, a lot of research, and then, you know, groundbreaking things happening like in 2017 with Google and their team of researchers debuting what we call a transformer, which is what we're seeing as a reality today with like tools such as ChatGPT.
So let's talk about that. There are categories of artificial intelligence. The one I think most people are familiar with would be the generative AI tools, and that just simply refers to those such as ChatGPT, where you enter a prompt, supply a prompt to the tool, and it provides some response back to you. Sometimes it could be generating text. Generally speaking, it could be some sort of imagery, rich content, etc. And that's one category, but it's way broader than that.
Yeah, so AI has really turned into sort of a buzzword. We've seen it with big data, cloud computing, a lot of stuff over the last couple of years and decades. So AI really encapsulates several layers. I like to equate it to cutting an onion. When you cut the onion, you peel back the different layers. That's what AI has. You have machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, so on and so forth. So it really encapsulates numerous things and more innovations happening to where we're getting deeper and deeper at the core and building more complex models, really creating that intelligence that is artificially there, you know, mimicking the human mind, what a human can think and know and learn. So it's incredible where we're at today, and it's really, the generative aspect is really in its infancy.
Yeah.
While I've mentioned AI has been around since the 50s, that generative aspect really could be dated since 2017, and really ChatGPT being 2 going on 3 years old now. And imagine what, you know, we're seeing in real time what it can do. Imagine what it can do in a year, 5 years, 10 years. A lot of positivity that's happening around the state right now in Mississippi related to that, and more to come.
Yeah. And then, of course, in use a lot, sort of out of sight, out of mind, but very, very common would be reactive AI. Especially in business. Lots of value. Law enforcement would be an example. Big time.
And even in healthcare as well. We're seeing a lot of that. So when we talk about AI, obviously, you know, it gets classified as a technology. But think about how technology we're driven today in all sectors of the world and all sectors of Mississippi, using it in agriculture for precision farming and growth of crops and vegetation. Think about it in healthcare, being able to process the accuracy of patient records where the doctor can spend more time, you know, being personable with you, being an actual doctor that we would like to have. And so it's really just amplified in all capacities, and we're continuing to see more integration and usage of it. And it'd be great to promote this, you know, throughout the state and show people what's there. You have an option of a variety of tools to use. You know, select one that's beneficial for you and let yourself grow, let your business grow.
So, Dr. Napier, talk about the mission of the Mississippi Artificial Intelligence Network, M.A.I.N. What's your mission there? What are you trying to accomplish?
So M.A.I.N has three primary goals. That's providing leadership, statewide leadership to Mississippi related to AI. That's providing innovation, so attracting innovative companies, but also promoting the growth and innovation throughout all sectors of Mississippi, especially in higher education on the research front. But to be able to do those two things, we really have to focus on the awareness, the education, and the training related to AI. The whole goal of M.A.I.N is to upskill the workforce. So our current individuals throughout Mississippi who are working right now, and then our next generation, the students in college, the students in high school, anybody in K-12. And to be able to do that, we have to do what we call train the trainer, educate the educator, prepare the people who can do the training and understanding to everybody. Hey, here's what it is, here's how to use it, here's the good, the bad, the ugly about it, to better prepare everybody. Because we want people to come to the state. We want our employers to provide the opportunities throughout the state for everybody. And it's here. As we were talking about, it's here and it's not going anywhere. So we need to educate everybody on how they can understand and use it. Again, you don't have to be a computer scientist to do all of this. You can be, a nurse, you can be a teacher, you can be whatever profession and utilize AI.
Yeah. So I know that there's some summits, if you will, that are planned by our legislature. They're considering artificial intelligence as part of their policy making, and they should, honestly. They certainly need to be guided to some extent. So you guys are going to be participating in that and advising, right?
Yeah, so we'll have some hearings coming up with technology committees, and really when it comes to policy and regulation, it starts with common sense. We don't want to inhibit innovation and advancement of AI, and especially in the state of Mississippi. So we just need to understand, again, going back to that awareness, education, and training aspect, providing that broad knowledge, the fundamentals of what it is to get to the point of establishing the policies, the regulation, and truly, letting Mississippi thrive. Like I said, first in the nation right now through M.A.I.N. We want to continue that going forward, and Mississippi can prosper in utilizing AI in all capacities: state government, law enforcement, healthcare, and beyond.
Yeah, and the private sector as well.
Yes.
And of course, states, including our federal government, at all levels of government, that they're all considering this issue and what sort of regulatory framework perhaps would make sense around it. I talked on the show not so long ago about Tennessee, where they have lots of performing artists reside. And they passed a law that essentially just prohibits use of artificial intelligence from replicating someone's voice or their image and so forth is somewhat of an encroachment on something that's theirs, that they own, their identity.
Yeah, and we're sort of in a gray area right now. This is something new. We're testing the waters. While it's cool and great that maybe we can bring back the voice of Elvis to his family and his estate and his fans, they may not agree with that. So where do we draw the line? Do we outright ban it? Do we limit the creativity? Where do we stand? And really that conversation goes beyond just Mississippi, beyond the federal government, but even the companies who are building these tools, even the big companies, Google, Meta with Facebook, Apple, they're having those conversations as well. We have consortiums, we have committees all over who are trying to define, how do we limit or put some constraints without stopping the innovation, stopping the creativity. So it's a hard line to walk right now, but something will come from it.
Yeah. In fact, Tennessee's law, I believe, was the acronym was Elvis, Ensuring Likeness, Voice, and Image Act or something like that. But I believe first in the nation, if I'm not mistaken, because they're home to so many recording and performing artists.
Yeah, and we see a lot of states, too, anywhere from, of course, California to Texas to Colorado and beyond are putting forth this regulation and these bills to prevent, whether it's digitizing people, otherwise known as a deep fake, or doing the voice replication. So, again, the conversation still needs to be had, and while I'm assuming all of these states are having that, we just need to think forward, because we can't get in front of AI because every day it's changing, but how can we keep up with what it's doing?
Yeah. We got a break right here, but if you can hang around, we can continue the discussion.
Absolutely.
Folks, we got Dr. Colin Napier here with the Mississippi Artificial Intelligence Network. We're coming right back. We're going to talk a little more AI. Well, studio, we're talking to Dr. Colin Napier, Mississippi Artificial Intelligence Network. So you're also on the staff at Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, right?
Correct.
And what role do you play there? What do you do?
Just the director of M.A.I.N.
Okay.
That's my whole role,
Okay.
my whole ordeal, and just involved in directing this statewide initiative.
So you're totally dedicated and focused on that.
Absolutely.
And should be, honestly. We need such an organization. And you shared earlier that the first in the nation.
Yeah, all 15 community colleges, several of our public universities, and it doesn't stop there. We have many public and private organizations throughout the state, whether it's in higher ed, business, that are involved in part of the conversation. This is not a secret. We're just bringing people together to figure out, hey, what's available, what can we do, how can we utilize it?
That is really cool. So what about introducing AI courses and coursework into the various curricula at the community colleges and the higher eds too? They're all adopting this sort of stuff.
Yeah, so when we talk about upskilling the workforce and better preparing them, of course, we need to have something to train them with, educate them with. So we have two industry partners, Intel and Dell Technologies, two global technology leaders. And Intel has provided M.A.I.N with curriculum that's comprehensive, currently 11 courses, and they're giving this to us for free.
Wow.
And the goal is, Intel, like any other industry or any other company, wants to see that workforce. They want to see that upskill. They want to see that next generation. So they're working with M.A.I.N and providing this to us. Right now we have 3 free online courses that are available to anybody in the state of Mississippi. It does not matter your age, your background, your education. If you have an interest in AI and a willingness to learn, you can sign up for that for free. It's open-ended, self-paced. There's no requirement, no deadline. It's not a burden to anybody. It's just an open, free resource to help spread that awareness and education.
Where do they find that? Is there a website?
Yeah, so they can go to mgccc.edu/M.A.I.N, M-A.I.N. So if they go to the Gulf Coast website, they can search for it. They can search for Workforce AI Courses, MGCCC on Google or your search engine. It should be the top result. You can sign up for it. And if you're in K-12, any K-12 teachers can sign up as well for an intro course, and they can earn free continuing education units, free CEUs that they can apply towards their teaching license. So again, the goal is spreading this awareness and education to everybody in the state.
Dr. Napier, a lot of people have expressed concerns about AI eliminating jobs. What are your thoughts about that?
So there's a lot of predictions and projections about AI displacing jobs, but on the positive side, we're creating brand new jobs that do not exist today. AI will create a plethora of new jobs and revitalize existing jobs. But one thing I tell people is that AI in and of itself will not take your job, but the people who are learning AI, integrating it, implementing it, embracing it, can and will take your job. Because that, again, going back to that next wave that the world, the economy wants to see, people with these skills, the people that are taking the time, going through these courses we have, learning on the side, we'll take that job over you, because employers want to see somebody who's skilled and can interact with ChatGPT, Copilot, whatever the tool may be. So again, and we're not saying this you have to be a computer scientist, but you have to have those effective soft skills, the communication, the human AI collaboration, understanding how to what we call prompt engineer, ask for questions, get information from the AI, and to really benefit yourself as a professional, your business, and beyond.
And the demand for prompt engineers is widespread, and it's ever growing. I think it's Google and their Anthropic organization is advertising for prompt engineers and paying them like $300,000 a year. And they're looking for people who can most efficiently converse and produce prompts to optimize the output from the tools, and they're willing to pay for that.
Absolutely. And it's not just somebody going in saying, hey, read this spreadsheet for me, but it's a set of complex tasks saying hey, here's your task, here's what you are, here's the result I need. It's very crafting a curated, crafted response or prompt, if you will, to the AI. It goes back to that saying of kind of good input equals good output, which is sort of a farce, if you will. But that's sort of the place that we're at right now, that we need people who can effectively communicate. So we're not taking away from the teaching and learning of soft skills. We still need that. We need to be able to problem solve, have those critical thinking skills to be able to get that result.
But I think the point is that does require a lot of skill, and it's becoming an art as well as a science, just to be an effective prompter, if you will.
And a lot of troubleshooting, too. It's not just a one-and-done ordeal. It can take several iterations, and it takes you learning and knowing the machine, or what we call the LLM, large language model, and it takes the model learning you as well. We now have integrated memory into a lot of models, like with ChatGPT. It learns who you are, what you need, your background, and you can tell it all that information, or you can decide not to, but it's curating towards you, like we see curating in all other aspects. So.
Yeah. We've seen, I've talked about on the show, lots of the major players in the data center world are planning to invest actually over $1 trillion in new data center build out over the next 3 years. And it's the major players that you would expect. It's Amazon, it's Microsoft, it's Meta, it's Google, it's Apple, IBM, all the above. And this is mostly to accommodate what is expected to be an explosion of new artificial intelligence applications. And, of course, you need lots of IT infrastructure, networking, storage, et cetera.
Yes, and the fuel for AI really is the data. At the end of the day, it needs data to be able to train, to be able to reference, and provide that generative response. So we are in definitely a data-driven world, to the point of, we're just sitting here talking, not using our phone. Guess what? Our phone's actively in the background, pinging, getting data and information, and that's spreading through all these data centers throughout the U.S., throughout the world. So data is the key, and data really is the gold. The phrase is, if AI is the Wild West, then data's the new gold, and that's absolutely true.
When I was a young consultant back in 1981, I worked for the consulting division of Arthur Andersen, what's now Accenture. And we had kind of a think tank at the firm that in 1981 predicted that every fact known to man would eventually be available in your home or the palm of your hand before there was a commercial internet and so forth. We're kind of there, aren't we?
Yeah, almost to the point of, I believe I read an article that talked about within the next couple of years, all we will have is synthetically generated data. So it's kind of funny to think about that. We're almost to the point of running out of data when we can't build enough servers and data centers to hold it. So who knows what the future will hold, but we are data driven, and it's only going to amplify from here. So we're technology driven, we're AI fueled, and needing to provide that AI talent to the world.
Have you seen predictions by futurists that suggest that the amount of new knowledge, new human facts will double in the next 20 years from the beginning of time to today? New not volume of just content of data, but new facts, I think largely driven by this power of AI.
Absolutely. And we're seeing AI used to find anomalies in data. We're seeing AI being able to predict earlier signs of cancer or disease. Because take how many hundreds or thousands or millions of x-rays, how long would it take for humans to go through that when you could supply it to an AI model and it can tell you in a short amount of time, hey, here's what we're seeing. Here's this identifier of what cancer could be that no human would discover for maybe 100 years or more.
Yeah.
And we're seeing, too, AI being used to look at historical artifacts. We deal with delicacies. Maybe we don't want to open up an artifact, whether it's a book or beyond, and maybe we can use scanning and AI to decipher the text or decipher the meaning. So we can use it for a lot of future opportunities, but also look back in the past and decipher, everything.
Yeah, we've got about a minute and a half left, but wanted to get your take on how the combination of AI and the progress being made in quantum computing, the combination of those two technologies, what that's going to mean for us.
really the power of quantum computing is yet to, I think, resonate with people. I mean, you have people such as Google, companies like Google, who've built these multi-billion, trillion-dollar machines that can just vastly outperform anything that we know today. So the moment that gets cracked by Google, Apple, whoever, we're going to see AI and all this other technology amplify times 100.
It's unbelievable. I think I saw a report where Google conducted a test, some sort of test problem that they were able to solve with their quantum computers. You said they've invested a whole bunch of that in like 10 minutes, and they said the standard supercomputer would take 10,000 years or something insane like that.
Absolutely incredible where we are today as a human race in technology and innovation.
This is why I'm so optimistic about the future. I know a lot of people always like to doom and gloom, but it's human innovation that's going to make life better in the future, and I've got a lot of confidence in that.
It is. AI is not a replacement. It's a tool to enable us going forward.
Well, I'm glad that you're in charge, and I'm glad we have this organization. I look for big things to come out of the Mississippi Artificial Intelligence Network. Thanks for coming on, Dr.
Absolutely.
Colin Napier. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're coming right back, folks, in the Element Well studio.